Excellent. Dismiss that. Sorry, I keep forgetting every time to get waiting music. I'll work on that next time around and have some waiting background music while you're sitting there. But good afternoon, good morning, depending on your time zone. Welcome. Great to have you. Fantastic turnout. 100 people here already. So welcome to Power BI for Government Community of Practice. This is actually our 16th event, so it is great to have you here. Just a reminder in terms of the housekeeping. Get my slides working. We're running this via webinar, so you are able to turn your mics on, to turn your cameras on. That's completely up to you. But we just ask, as people are presenting, if you would just keep your mics on mute. And if you have questions going through, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll try to moderate the questions. If you'd like to, ask your question, maybe you can just raise your hand. Because there's a lot of us, it'd be good to kind of moderate that in terms of how people ask questions. So either drop them in the chat, raise your hand, and then I'll ask you to ask your question. I think that's all. So this session is being recorded. I will throw it over onto YouTube. So if anyone misses it, you can always catch up with it over on YouTube. For those of you who haven't been before, welcome. Power BI Community of Practice. We are a group of Power BI users in the government space. And this group is all about user stories. We've got two fantastic stories today to see how people are using Power BI in their workspace. We're all about learning, getting tips, techniques, and updates. What's new? What's happening in Power BI world? How do we keep our finger on the pulse? So that's what we are all about. For those who haven't met, my name is Warren Dean. I am a Power BI specialist in the government space, and I actually just hit 2,000 trainees. So that was a bit of a goal of mine last year. So I've trained 2,000 people in Power BI. But if you need support in training, rolling out Power BI, mentoring, Power BI report development, please do reach out. We do have 3 courses. Now, unfortunately, the beginner course is already sold out, but if you'd like to come along to the advanced course or the data storytelling course, these are the 3 courses that I offer. They're on next month. So do yell out. And sorry about the beginner one, but if you are interested, just shoot me an email and I'll put you on the wait list for the next time that we run it. But that's kind of me. That's what I do in the Power BI space. But what we do have today is we have 2 presentations. First up, we're going to have Vida from Maroondah City Council. He's going to be talking about Copilot in Power BI and the trial that they've had. And Anthony and Andre are here from Microsoft as well. They're here to support and answer any questions. So if they can't answer the question, they promise they will get back to me and they will find the answer for you. But if you want to know anything about Copilot and how that's working within Power BI, we've brought the experts along today. We've got Suman as well. He's going to be talking about using open data, publishing data open with Power BI. That's a really good use case. So he'll be presenting second, and I will wrap up with some of the updates, what's happening in the world of Power BI. 20th of May is our next meetup. Let me drop the link in the chat for you. So the way we do it so that I don't spam you is if you want to come along to the meetups, you just have to register every time. So there's the registration link. We've got Tim from Murrumbul. He's going to be talking about getting Power BI integrated with CAMS and doing some service requests. So that's a Power BI report that he's been working on. We do have 1 extra slot if you are keen. So just register on that link and we'll see you in May. And also, I do, as usual, have a free book giveaway. The theme of this session is obviously we've got a bit of AI in there and we've got Copilot. This is a book that was given to me by Packet. If you'd like a copy of this book, just register for the next meetup. I will draw that at the end of the session and someone will get a lucky copy of Artificial Intelligence with Power BI. So again, just click on that link, enter your details, and you'll just be registered for the session in May. Excellent. All right, well, that's it from me. I am going to hand over to Vida. So Vida, if you'd like to introduce yourself and feel free to take over the screen.
Thank you very much, Warren. I will start presenting. That will show actually who I am. My name is Vita Young. I'm the Cyber Technology Group Leader for Applications and Services. So just a very brief, I got some slides to go through, and then I'll try to do a live demo where apparently we have, again, from our end, internet problem. So it's good to have Microsoft support here. Okay, who is Maroondah? Just for those who don't know us, just give very quick view of who are we. So Warren City Council is here in the Ringwood area at the East Lane. When you come East Lane, come here. So here's East Lane around here. So that's where I work when I'm at the office. So very convenient place to go shopping for people. So we have population like this, 117,000. So land area 61.38 square meter. So this is, if you are interested, this is who we are. And then what I will cover will be the Copilot for Power BI trial, the journey, a summary of our insight today, and dot points including this is a grassroots innovation, licensing. I put on bill shock concerns as well. Those we'll talk about that. Very thankful for the Microsoft sponsorship, and thank you for having Microsoft here. Environment configuration, what we know and what information is available on the web. That's very important for a project like this. And then I'll do a demo, and I'll briefly talk about our next steps from Marinda in the Copilot for Power BI journey. And then I'll put questions there, but the question will be at the end, I was told. So let's go straight into it. So the grassroots innovation, what we want to talk about is the alignment with organization-wide goals. So very important. If it's not, then it won't be successful. So what we try to talk to everyone is Excel is yesterday, and today and tomorrow is Power BI. So very quick point, cost and budget, very straightforward. Every Microsoft 365 E5 license comes with Power BI Pro. Why not use it like Excel? Power BI Cloud reports versus Excel reports. I think for those who knows Power BI, this is no more. This is what we want. So I will leave it for question. If anyone want me to elaborate a bit more on why we go for Power BI Cloud reports. So very handy, I mean, very important. Copilot to build Power BI pages in Power BI, that actually reduce costs, and that's a huge benefit to the organization. Everyone that I show Power BI says it actually will increase efficiency, save time as well. So you'll see some of that hopefully live as well. But if it's not working, I actually do have something screenshot already. Motivation and incentives, very important. If we don't have people like those are listed here, big thank you to our people and culture department, statutory planning, access, finance, cyber technology, and more. We don't have the people behind us to support us to go into a project like this and help us to step by step learn through it. We won't be successful. I can assure everyone this is not my CEO's say go. So that's why it's a grassroots innovation. So very important in a project like this. Licensing. Thank you for Warren. When I first started Android, we talk about Power BI Premium. By now, not that long after that, we made the right choice. So actually, please have a look of the blog. I will actually have this side submit the Power BI, the PowerPoint sent to Warren. So all these links you should be available. I mean, if you need to look at the information. And Microsoft Private is the way to go. It must be F64. And I actually have the slides here. If you guys want to look at the pricing, welcome to jump to these slides and then look at the pricing for Microsoft. Because I did say earlier there could be bill shock concern if we don't manage it properly. Okay, live demo. I just quickly go through what I was showing using Copilot to analyze data, using it to assist on desk query. I'll do a quick demo on our Power BI Cloud. I will talk a little bit on the synchronization and service account importance, and also semantic models and report separation, and a demo of the pages in Power BI Cloud as well. And I will actually go through this next before I actually jump onto the demo. This is what I want to show everyone, how we do it. Well, this is the cost control part. I actually said very important. So what happened in here is in the F64, we are able to pause it and resume it just one click away. And there can be an app to automate this as well. Thank you to Andre and all the help from Microsoft. Today, I will actually do the manual one because I don't know when I need to use it. And I want to pause it to show you how it looks like when it is paused as compared to when it's on. So let's go on to the Power BI itself. So this is Power BI desktop. The first thing I want to show everyone is when things are not working. So this is a narrative page. It doesn't work when Fabric 64 is actually on pause. So just want to show everyone, I have to go back to the other page, which I will go now. Actually, one click, resume it. Yes, take about 30 seconds max. So say resuming. Hopefully everything will work. We do this right but active. Wonderful. Excellent. As soon as I do my pair, it's come on. Wonderful. So you can still see this is not working. And this is something that we need to be mindful of when we actually do Power BI. We need to restart Power BI desktop to see things working. We're locally, not on the web. On the web will be immediately, but on the local one, I need to start Power BI again because it doesn't know it's working. And we tested that last time. The local Power BI need to restart to get Copilot working. So I open our statutory planning Copilot report. Thank you to our statutory planning department, allowing me to help them to actually go through all this. So now, because Copilot Microsoft Fabric is on, you can see the creating a narrative page come up. When I publish this page and have Fabric on, this page will work on the web as well. So, but I haven't done it because I know that this is something we need to get approval to proceed further. If we want to use a feature like this one, it's called narrative. And as you can see, I've done a narrative called executive summary, and all the this is to do with our planning area. This is the data from our pathway info map. So this is actually our data warehouse, and this is a good executive summary for us. So in here, what I want to show everyone is one button away to use Copilot. This button will work, hopefully. Okay, so this is great. It works. Because when we have data and we have semantic model, I need to actually highlight this is very important. The semantic model work is very important to proceed further. So once we have the semantic model with tables and data in it, Copilot will come and analyze the data in the semantic model, and it will come to us, let us actually create new reports. And today I will demonstrate the suggest content for new reports. So it actually will analyze the data and suggest some reports for us. So from the beginning, this is one of the good things to do is actually this is very efficient because as soon as this AI can see the data, it can actually suggest some reports for us to do. So say, for example, it will work if we click on if we want to look at the 3 audit outcomes, all I need to do is just do create. I don't need to even write anything here. But something I want to show everyone when it's creating a page, examining the final report, and it's the language, something that we want to see this quick to actually do a report. It will take us a little bit of time, at least, to create a report like this. So, but the language is very important because we can see how the AI actually generate this page because it actually have key information like key matrix, visual, and slides, and everything. So we can change wordings. We can copy this and change wordings on here to get Copilot to build different pages based on the language. So what I want to demonstrate is something that our planning department asked it before, because when you look at the suggested report, nothing about WeCat. So I just can you please create a page for VCAT. Now this is a pure English, simple English question. See what the AI will understand. There you go. VCAT register. My goodness, how wonderful is that? So at this point, I will actually quickly jump to our PowerBI.com. This is morindapowerbi.com. So this report looks at our semantic model in the cloud already. And as you can see, this is actually got synchronization to our SQL database in-house at this stage. And then it will have refresh history. It has the gateway connection using a service account, not our own account, because our own account needs two-factor, and also expiry as well. So the importance of using a service account is very important. Otherwise, you will keep on getting errors every now and then. And then the where is the connection to is our SQL server behind the scene. So later on, we'll look at the data lake and other options as well. But at this stage, where we're up to is what I'm just sharing. So back to where we were. So this is all our workspace that we are working on. So let's see one of the Copilot report. This is what we published to the audience. So when people with access, they can see all these reports already. They are all generated by Copilot. So all these reports, if you see this one, VCD I showed you before. So that's all generated by the AI. So this is what AI can do for us, and really similar to Excel when we ask Excel to create a pivot table. But the beauty of this is data is only one piece. So we don't have a copy of the data on Excel and everything like that. So that and then the data is what the last sync of the data as well. So 1 day old data. So going back to our slides. So next steps, as I said before, we still need to work a lot more on the semantic models. That's our current focus. Because with good semantic models, then the AI can help, and we can have more reports, good reports. That people will have good reports for the organization and actively utilized by people. And we'll use Copilot to enhance our data analysis and reporting capability. And the next step for us will be also looking at data lake consideration, wider use of Microsoft Fabric. I think the next slide is just questions, so I'll stop sharing and pass it back to Warren.
Yeah, no, let's take some questions, Vita. That's all right. We can have the questions while you're here and while that's fresh in everyone's mind. And there's a few in the chat. So what I'll do is I'll read them out. If you've got any other questions, drop them in the chat. Or if you want to ask your question, just raise your hand and I'll hand over to you. Our first question is, how have you found the accuracy and the reliability of the analysis provided by Copilot?
Very good question. This is why we need to involve the stakeholders, because what I show you is actually working together with stakeholders. They need to check the data for sure. They need to look at, this is why the semantic model is also important. And we need to involve the subject matter experts. When I build a report like this, I wouldn't be able to tell how good is the data, but only the stakeholders, the subject matter experts, and I think I have some of them in this meeting anyway. So they are the one who can tell this is why good report is important, because we need to have people verify the report. Our job is to verify the data source and everything. So we are helping the organization to make sure the data come from, say, for example, the system pathway data warehouse. That if the data in the warehouse is wrong, if the query is wrong, then we can help when people ask questions. But the thing is, we will need to have people checking the data for sure.
Mm. And I suppose when you're getting those sample reports built, are you able to tell Copilot, oh, that's not right, or you didn't use the right column there? Can you, because it's conversational in terms of how you build that?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is why I showed the language earlier, because Copilot will share the language used to build the report, so we can change the field, we can change the object, we can say which I jumped one of those. We can add equation, because one of the I tried to be quick. I actually skipped it to use we can build DAX query as well, DAX queries. And for example, it comes with the calendar date. We can build financial year date month for the report and ask Copilot to build report based on financial year rather than calendar year. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. Marie's asking a question about validation performed on the output. I suppose you kind of answered that in terms of you put that to the stakeholders to validate. Yeah.
Yep.
Tim would like to know, do you put any disclaimers to let people know that this content's been generated by AI?
We haven't yet, because this is not like a recap or something. And I believe, again, this is a responsibility of the people who publish the report to make sure they're trustworthy, number one. And also, we need to be open. If someone actually finds some questions, say, for example, my income is saying $10,000 and it doesn't sound right. So we rely on people asking questions as well. It's similar to open data as well. When we publish open data, we always there's already disclaimer in the open data website to say people need to also ask questions. So it's two sides. We cannot guarantee accuracy until we actually have questions. This is at least my understanding of the best practice or the approach being better approach to take, because there is no way we can guarantee 100% accuracy in the data.
Yeah,
to the best of my knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, just keep putting your chats in, and I'll open up. The Microsoft guys are here as well, so if you have, it doesn't have to be just about Vita's presentation, but just in general, if you do have questions. So I'll open this up to the group as well, because this question from Will says, wonder about machine learning capabilities. To what extent can I give Copilot or the model multiple examples of my quarterly report so they can emulate the style and layout? So can it do style and layout, or is it just looking at the data?
Can I pass this question to Andre?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the question. For those who just joined, my name's Andre. I'm from Microsoft. I'm here to answer what's possible. I don't know it all, but I do have a team of people that can support us. So the question, thank you, Warren, for the question. I miss who asked the question.
Will.
Will. So yes, essentially you can change the layout, the coloring scheme that you like. This is the beauty of, I guess, large language model that's within Copilot. You interact with it. The sole purpose of Copilot is to basically be your assistant. It's not there to replace anything or anyone, but just to take it up to a bit of a faster turnaround of producing those reports. And it will understand your comment to say, hey, I don't like those color scheme, please change it and adjust it accordingly.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Ruth's got a question. It's an interesting one, because I was thinking, so what reassurances do you have that, obviously if you were using, for example, their residence information, maybe had some personal information, their addresses and phone numbers and things like that. And she's asked, how do we know that it's not being scraped by third-party usage? I suppose I'd add to that, how do I, is that data leaving Australian shores? Where's Copilot processing and doing its work?
I'll answer the first. Angel, you want to answer that question first?
Yeah. So at this point, the data that Copilot uses will remain on the soil or the resources that you commission Fabric with. So in this case, in Azure, you commission um, your resources depending on which region you want it on. However, there are language models that's being used in the backend that may not transfer data, but communicate the information that you are talking about. Let's say, hey, this person, I want to collect information about Bob. What are his transaction for that day? What are the patterns that will sort of traverse into Copilot backend, which is a large language model. But you can sort of regionalize that accordingly, and you can limit that as well in the admin settings within Fabric itself.
Okay.
Yep. From the other side of the answer, we actually restrict our PowerBI.com not to be viewed by public until the organization has give us approval for reports that can be published. I think Simon will talk about that more on the open data, so that the open data or data reports to be shared with the public is to come in Morinda. So at the moment, all the reports that I show you is only visible for Morinda people.
Yeah. Now, Azure OpenAI for Copilot is not available in Australia. Hence, the data is... Oh, sorry, my question just jumped. All right, let me scroll back up. Hence, the data is being processed in the US. Being obviously government organizations and our laws about data not leaving the shores, do you consider that, and what's your approach on that? I think it might kind of lead into your previous answer, but is there anything you want to elaborate, Andre? Does that question make sense?
Which one? Let me just read it. This is Marina one? Is it?
Diana, 1224.
Okay, just rereading the questions.
Yeah, it's in blue, very hard to read.
Yeah, blue. I'm not sure why it's blue.
We had a little play, so I'm just catching up with the questions.
Yeah, no, you're right.
As of now, sorry, I did miss that altogether in blue. Thank you. As of now, Azure OpenAI for Copilot is not available in Australia, hence that is being processed. So yeah, this is a very good point. That's the setting that I was talking about within Fabric itself. The prompt and the reasoning goes through the US OpenAI at this point, but your data still remains in Australia. Now, you have to consciously enable that within Fabric and Power BI to do that. So it doesn't really open up automatically when you enable F64 and subsequently Fabric with Copilot capability.
Okay. And asking, can Copilot create measures based on the data?
Like financial year? Is that what it means?
Like a DAX measure, yeah. So
yeah,
create a DAX measure.
I can do a demo of that if you want, but do we have time, or I can go back to quickly demo that?
Yeah, why don't we? I'll keep going through the questions if you want to. Pull one up and get one ready. Yep.
Yep. Sure.
We had a little play of this, turned on the F64 capacity for about 40 minutes, and it produced some good results, and it costed us 20 New Zealand dollars. Okay, so that's just a comment more than a question, but just to give an example of some of the prices, so thank you. Okay, good question from Matt. Can you restrict Copilot to specific levels of data classification?
That's a good question. Sorry, Matt, this is Andre speaking. So when you say specific level data classification, maybe perhaps you're using a classification within Purview itself to present who can view the report, or are you actually thinking about the data that Copilot can access directly?
Yeah, a bit of both. What it can access, but also, can you restrict that to say, well, I only wanted to say anything that's classified as, more open data or something like that. So you might say that stuff it's kind of, it's almost like metadata or something like that. It's not the PID data and things like that.
Yeah, Copilot will have the data access to the information that or the tables that you want to interact with through large language model. But just keep in mind that within Power BI itself, it does respect row level security and all that stuff. So yeah, again, that's answered in two ways: that the data that Copilot will access is what you give it to, it will give it. And at the same time, for users' consumption, then the existing security permissions applies as well, according to what you set them with.
Cool. Thanks, Andre. So just probably a thing for everyone just to be careful there.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks, Matt. Vita, did you want to create a quick measure in DAX for us?
I have one that is ready on my screen.
Okay.
This is this in the model before I screened them this. I can actually do it to the live, but actually like to turn Copilot off. Sorry, for F64 off at the moment. But actually screened them this one. This is what I want to present to people. So we can actually ask a question in the desk area. And then the question I asked was, please give me a desk query to calculate the financial year from a calendar year date. So immediately it look at all the tables, it pick up the date lodge on the outstanding application table, and then give me the script to do the desk query. So that would be what you can do as well for Copilot for Power BI. So we can use Copilot to actually build desk queries in that sense.
Excellent. Thanks, Veda. Another question, I suppose, is more about, you can create queries, you can create DAX queries, you can create reports. Could you ask Copilot to say, have a look at a particular semantic model and say, are there any particular issues, data quality problems that I need to be aware of? I'm not sure if you've had a go of that, Veda, or if that's more an Andre question.
Andre, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I understand the question, like, will Copilot understand if there's any data quality problem, maybe in terms of quality around number of digits? I don't know the answer to that. I haven't actually played with that, but I believe it can. There may be, so Copilot is what we're speaking about today has been Copilot within Microsoft Fabric Power BI. Copilot is available across all Microsoft Fabric experiences. So this includes data science, machine learning. So through the different services, you'll be able to work through your tables and models, ingest. You can talk to it with a natural language, and it can do the work for you. So if you'd say, hey, this table should have 9 digits or 9 characters, but tell me which tables are not adhering to that, it can naturally do that. So that's an example of data quality I can think of. But if there's any more on that, please ask. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, no, excellent. Okay, this is a question, or I suppose it's more of a statement that he just wants to confirm is correct from Eden. If I skip through, so they're using Copilot for Enterprise. He's saying the data is protected in the organization's tenant. It's not being used to train their machine or AI. There's agreements between both parties. It's quite common to accept that you pay for the product or you are the product. He just wants to correct it wrong. So I suppose the question is, it's protected by the tenancy, and Microsoft are not using this data to further train Copilot.
Yeah, that is sorry, did you want to answer question that, Peter? Or
No, I got the answer for the previous question that I want to show everyone. So, but this wasn't a question actually asked by my users, which is a very good question. So what I did do was, while Andre, you were talking, I just asked Copilot, is there anything unusual on the request register? So I asked that question as well. So is there anything unusual? So it comes up based on the current. So yeah, you guys can have a look. All outcome extremes of. So is it standard or is it what? So is it useful? So yeah, I think I need to send this to my subject matter experts to look at something like this. This is an excellent question from the floor. I think I will share this capability with my users as well. Andre, thank you for highlighting that it's actually possible. We haven't got a question like this from our end so far, and really clever people in this forum. So just want to, I will go, yeah, jump to the next question. Yeah, for you,
sorry.
if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll jump back to you, Andre. So I think it was about Microsoft is not using your data to train its AI. Yeah.
Yeah. Commonly asked question, and the short answer is that Microsoft do not use that data to train any AI models. As you know, Microsoft has a joint venture with OpenAI, and along others, we also have other access to different models. For Copilot specifically, we use various different models. I think OpenAI is one of the ones that we uses. Now, the data is just solely yours. It does not get used to train or to be shared in any other form, way, or shape. So this is a Microsoft guarantee, and something that we can share as well as a publicly available information, Warren, to the rest of the audience here. Absolutely great questions, and thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, so I think that's it for question. Maybe we'll finish off, Andre. Like, if someone wants to have a go, like Vita, and just have a little bit of a trial with some safe data that they want to have a go with, like how would they go about just kind of jumping on, turning a few things on, and just having a go?
Yeah. So Anthony, did you want to answer that? Maybe.
Yeah, they can actually use their Fabric portal. So there's a Fabric trial they can turn on, and there's a 60 days free trial. We'll provide the link here. So if the customer, if the any participants would like to give a trial on the Fabric, they can use it. But just to call out one thing is for Copilot for Power BI or Copilot for Fabric, it has to be F64. So even though the trial will be on F64 SKU, but it doesn't provide any Copilot features. So they're gonna be charged. But if the customer really wants to, I will suggest you speak with your Azure specialist that about your organization. If you're not sure, come back to Warren, and then Warren can reach out to me. I can help you to align with the right person.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, feel free to keep dropping your questions in, but just for the sake of time, I think what we'll do is we'll move on to Suman. We can come back to any questions if we have time, but no, please do ask your questions. It's good. We've got the Microsoft guys here, and that's the point of this forum. It's for you to have a voice to ask your questions, and we want you to be able to, use all these new products and figure out what's going on and how to best support you. So, Suman, can I hand over to you if you want to introduce yourself? I know you've been here before, but a few people might not know who you are. So, if you want to introduce yourself, and feel free to take over the screen.
Yeah, thank you, Warren. Thanks for having me. So I'm Suman. I work for Frankston City Council as the lead data and smart cities. I've been with Frankston for bit more than a year. Prior to that, I have also worked on Glen Ira City Council, so around 5 years of council experience. And prior to that, I had worked in different data consultancy roles across the world in US, Europe, India, Hong Kong, and things like that. So when I joined Frankston, one of the projects which was given to me by my leadership is to consolidate data that is lying across multiple platforms. So we have data in our corporate websites and in various annual reports. So I was asked if we can, and we have been putting up a lot of information for our external audiences in forms of reports, annual reports in our different registers and other areas. So when I was asked that if we can consolidate and expose the data, I said yes, pretty much possible. There are multiple technologies. But the second problem I was given is we have very limited budget and practically no budget. So that kind of zeroed me onto one particular solution, because when we didn't have much of budget, the only thing I could do is use internal resources, internal technologies, and try to build something on that. So I'll show the data platform now. So what we did is we used Power BI, and we have used embedded reports on our corporate website. So I'll first show what we have done, and this is not live yet. This is about to go live. We are still reviewing a few things here and there. So there might be small anomalies which we are trying to streamline. So I'll just straight away go to our corporate website, which is this one. So here we have our stories data sets, and I've created a data catalog as well. So stories are essentially where we have supplemented the data along with narratives which can be understood by external audience. External audience is basically somebody who is beyond our organization. It can be community, it can be researchers, academics, anyone like so. This data will be available to anyone who is just having a browser. That's the only requirement to see this data. So if I go to some of the stories that we have created, so when we create stories, we build the reports, the visuals, and then we sit with our business teams, and our data analyst and the business team works together in building the narratives. And I want to highlight that we have a very small team in Frankston. So apart from me, we have Selena, who works as our lead data analyst. So that's the entire data team which we have, and we sit under business transformation. So with our limited capabilities, we started to build this. And these are some of the stories. For example, I can open our capital works. So this is basically, we have put some Power BI dash. It takes a bit of time to render. So this is our capital works summary. We have some different projects which has been delivered previous year, current year with the statuses. And we have the capital works asset classes described over here. And we have the projects by the subject areas. So sports and recreation, biodiversity, and things like that. And these are all having all the features of interactive Power BI report, though they are embedded in our website. So a user, even without a Power BI license, can get full benefits of what we get through our Power BI interactive dashboard. They can use the slicers, they can change the formats and things like that. So, and then we have the raw data which we have used to build the report. So this is just one example, and here we have given some narratives as well, like what we have done. Similarly, another one is our consultancy, our awarded contracts. So these are all the contracts that had been given. And here also we have used embedded Power BI on the website. Now, this is the total awarded contracts. Here we can select the years. So if I select 2024, so we have 52 contracts with 46 suppliers. This is the contract value and all those kind of details. So a person with just a browser will be able to use these Power BI features and can get different insights about the organization. And this entire thing is in our corporate website. So if we want to give details, because we have a lot of narratives in our corporate websites, we have a lot of documents which we are uploading into our corporate websites for the external audiences. So we can tie up those pages. We can link the pages and can say that for more details, you can visit this particular page. So the data, narrative, and the Power BI enabled high-end interactive visuals are all present at one particular platform over here. Now, in order to come to this, we had to, when I joined Frankston, we built our enterprise architecture to build this kind of infrastructure. So I'll just give a quick snapshot of it. So I had we had put up a Microsoft Azure data lake just as an intermediary layer between the various data sources and our Power BI. So what happens is we have data in various different formats. They come to the Azure layer and Power BI interacts with the Azure only. So that creates me a single source of truth, which I can monitor over here in this layer. But if the data is simple, if there are not too many users, one can eliminate this layer. We can always connect Power BI directly from the various data sources. And then, as I had shown, once we have the Power BI, we can embed them in our website for external viewers to take a look into that. So this has been overall architecture, and this is what we have used. So basically what happens is if we have interfaces which are not directly integrated with our system, we can download the data in an Excel file. That's a manual process. But after that, the data moves into the data lake and then it is cleaned and put into the Azure SQL, which is consumed by Power BI. So this part is completely automated. Whereas if we have the data in our customer request database, we have connected it directly from Pathway to the Azure SQL database. And then it goes to Power BI. So this entire process is completely automated. So these are all scheduled, and people get reports when it is required. So that's the architecture which has enabled us to build this platform. Now, there are a couple of things. Since we are putting data externally, there is a process of something called, when I go to Power BI, there is a process, and this is quite intricate. There is a process called publish to the web. So if I publish to the web, then everyone who is using a browser across the world gets access to it. So when I do this, I can get an iframe from here, and this iframe we embed into our website, and then we get the embedded Power BI. But a great word of caution, because this can be misused if given, if not governed properly. So here only I have the access to do this. And even before doing it, we have a privacy officer who verifies the data that we are putting up for external audience. So the privacy officer first validates the data. So we give the Power BI information to the privacy. For example, this is the customer complaints. This talks about the number of customer complaints which has come over to us over a period of time from August 2023 to September 2024, a number of. So this information and this visual is given to our privacy officer, and then we publish it into the web, and then that iframe is used by our, we deliver it to our website team who embeds the Power BI report. So this is a very critical part of doing exposing any organization data for external audiences. There should be a very tight privacy policy, and there should be somebody from the privacy side to review things which goes to the external audience. So that's the basic. And so I have used this Azure Data Factory, which is the ETL tool. I have created a query which takes data. If you can see it, it goes against, so this is the SQL query. It goes against the request data, which is in pathway. I can schedule this, and then it can, it will pull up directly the data from the pathway and populate into our Azure tables. And that will be used by Power BI, and that process is also also scheduled. So the entire data pipeline is automated through this process. And finally, we get into our that web-based data platform which we are building. And apart from this, I have also built a data catalog which hosts the list of data and has a link to all the data that we are using. For example, allocation of rate expenditure, people can just click on it and they can go to the exact location of the report. So that's all from me.
Yeah.
Questions, I'm happy
Fantastic.
to take it.
So when's that going? Because this is public, anyone can use that link in the future?
Right. Anyone can use that link. And the requirement is only a browser. That's it.
Yeah. And so when are you going live with that, Suman? And we can maybe send people.
We are going live soon. We are having some final reviews. I have presented to our mayor as well. And we are quite excited. We'll go live pretty soon.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, when Suman goes live, he'll send me the link, and I'll make sure I share it with everyone so you can have a look and get some ideas for yourself.
Right.
If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll go through. A few came up while you're presenting. Callan's just asking about embedded, and I think there might be a little bit confusion between Power BI embedded and Power BI published to the web. They're two different things. And correct me if I'm wrong, Suman, but using published to the web, which is all covered under your Power BI. Well, it's free actually.
Correct. Power BI published to the web is just getting the link, and then that link is passed to the website, our digital team who embeds that link into the website, and then that link is available. Like anybody can use that link to get access to that data, that report.
Yeah, so it's just an iframe. You can put it in your website. So yeah, it's not. So there is another product called Power BI Embedded, which has a cost. So it's not that, but. Technically,
no, it's not that. It's just an iframe that you can use. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Question from Will. He says, the Excel to data lake seems like a data mesh in your organization, especially with only 2 people in the data team. Can I confirm whether every data owner bears the responsibility to provide clean and consistent data, or do you have to regularly clean the same sources?
So we see the Excels can be from different, it can be generated in different ways. And that's one of the improvement that all organization needs to get into to get rid of the Excels to whatever extent possible. One of the option is people download Excels from applications like Take1 and all, which is kind of relatively clean data. But there are a lot of Excels which we get, which are hand curated. For example, how many meetings a counselor has attended. Those kind of things are done by the team, and those are hand curated because we don't have software systems for those teams. So depending upon the source of data, the amount of data cleaning varies. But we do the data cleaning, and that's really a difficult job, and that's probably the biggest challenge in this entire architecture. So gradually our intention is to get rid of these manual Excels and have systems and pull directly data from databases.
Yeah. So there's a question about, just to give some examples, some data. So you mentioned Pathway, but what other data sources are you connecting to?
So we have directly connected to our most important data sources, which are Pathway and Take1. So we can pull data from Pathway, and we can put data from Take1. Those are our biggest sources of data. And we are trying to connect other sources of data through various APIs. For example, we have Mimlex, which is basically our risk portal. So we are using, trying to connect those interfaces, smaller interfaces, through various APIs which are available. So that work will continue. That will always be an ongoing process to connect to as many interfaces as possible.
Yep. Question from Simon about what percentage of capacity the embedded reports use. Not really sure the answer. So I'm not sure, Suman, if you know, but I mean, it's.
Are you talking about, if you are talking about the Power BI's capability, these are very simple reports because this goes to general audiences and they might not be very trained data professionals. So we try to keep things as simple as possible. If you are meaning capability from that perspective, the reports that we generate are pretty simple. Like we don't generate very complicated reports.
I think there might be some confusion between embedded and published to the web. Let me quickly share my screen just so everyone's clear. Published to the web is any report that's already running in your Power BI service. You just go embed report, publish to the web, and then you need this iframe here. And so then your web team can jump over here, and you can see here I've got a report. I just drop the HTML code, the iframe, in here, and you can embed it in my website. So this isn't Power BI embedded, which is when you get Power BI reports and embed them in another application that someone's going to log into. This is just published to the web, and there's no cost with this. You don't even need a pro license. All you need is obviously a website, HTML, and you can drop iframes, which you would get from published to the web. But as Suman mentioned before, be very careful because that data is open and anyone has access to it. So be careful with that. What compute engine capacity does this run on?
This doesn't run on compute engine. The only thing that runs on compute engine is probably our ETL tool, which is the Azure Data Factory. So that's run inside the Azure environment. So apart from that, Power BI connects to the Azure, and then it runs on the Power BI service, which is another Microsoft.
Yeah, and so just to clarify that, Jack, because you've added to the question. I don't even have Pro because I'm a company of one, so I don't have any Power BI licensing, and I'm able to publish to the web. It's because I'm not sharing reports with people on my tenant. It's open, so there's no license requirement for it. Maybe the last question, and then we'll move on. But Will's got: do you monitor? So once this website's live, do you have some capacity to monitor if people are using particular pages or not?
Yes, so we will be, that will be same as our all other web pages in our corporate website. So they are monitored using Google Analytics. So it will be same as any other page, monitoring of any other page, and we'll use the same statistics which we currently use for our website.
Yeah, so correct. So all your Power BI reports you can view in the tenant, who's using them and how often they're using them. But unfortunately, published to web, it's only through Google Analytics that you can measure those type of things.
Correct.
A few people have to hop off. So what we'll do is I do have some updates, which I'll take a few minutes. But before anyone hops off, I just want to announce our winner, which is Charlotte. Charlotte, if you want to send me an email, congratulations. You are the winner of Artificial Intelligence with Power BI. If anyone needs to go, we're at our hour, so I understand if you need to jump off. I'll wrap up showing some of the updates in Power BI for February and January. But otherwise, thank you everyone if you do have to hop off. I appreciate your time coming along. Shoot any more questions if you have me, and I can pass them on to Microsoft. But otherwise, let's jump into what's new for Power BI. So thanks, Suman, and I will send you that link once that's live. Suman will send that to me, and I'll send that to all of you. So we did get an announcement in February of Copilot. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? That would help. Let me share my screen. So we do have some more Copilot improvements. So you can now use Copilot on Android tablets, iPads, and also I think another handy feature is how did the Copilot arrive at its decision? So you could ask a question and it just provides a report for you, but now it actually tells you why it did that and the logic it went behind that. So Copilot is continuing to improve, and now we can actually, I suppose, pull back the curtains and look at the brain and see what it's actually thinking as it goes through. Conditional formatting is now available for visual calculations. Let me jump into Power BI and show you that. If you haven't used VisCalcs, VisCalcs are up here in your modeling tab. So these are like DAX formulas, except they're just within the visual itself. So if I wanted to create a new visual, and I'll say previous versus next, it'll write the DAX for me, and then I just need to put sales amount in here. Sales amount. And you'll see here it has the logic which sometimes can be confusing in DAX, but in terms of the order. So because of the chart, it can work out, what's next and what's last, and it can look in an order, which is sometimes a bit tricky. You can use like a window function in DAX to do that, but visual calc's a lot easier. So that is an option if you want to create, it's not a measure, but like a measure, it just lives within the chart. You can't reference it with any other charts, but you can now do conditional formatting in here as well. So you can go cell elements, what did I do, versus next, and I can turn my data bars on for there as well, which would be the same. So visual calcs got a little bit of an upgrade. Azure Maps. So this is exactly what Suman was showing us before. So publish to the web. There's a lot of limitations in terms of some of your visuals won't be able to publish to the web, and you won't be able to let other people see them outside. Azure Maps was in that list. So any Azure map you made, you could not display in publish to the web. So finally, Azure Maps is able to be published to the web, which makes it a lot more useful for me, and especially if you're doing a lot more open Power BI reports, so you're showing Power BI reports outside your organization. Azure Maps is now an option. It wasn't previously. So now anything published to the web, Azure Maps is possible for that. I thought I got really excited about this one, and then I read it a little bit further. Semantic model version history. So I thought we were getting version history in Power BI Desktop, and somewhere we're able to see when we publish to the service, it's going to store all that. But this is only if you edit a semantic model in the Power BI service. It records those edits that it makes. So you can see previous versions of your semantic model only if they're edited in the Power BI service, which not many people do anyway. So, but maybe they're going to build on that. Hopefully we're getting some kind of version control in the world of Power BI. And the last one, which was not super interesting, but I just threw it on there. Tree map enhancements. So if you use tree maps, I try to stick away from tree maps. They're not the best visual, but we now have different layouts in terms of you can do rows and columns, binary or squares. So there's a few more options in the Power BI Viz settings. So again, Charlotte, you're the winner. So please shoot me an email and I will get that book to you. But otherwise, thanks so much. Thanks for stay a little bit afterwards. Harry says tree maps are awesome. I disagree, but anyway, thanks everyone. Appreciate all your time. If you've got any other questions you want to stick on the line, just stick on the line and I'll answer those questions for you. We're not going to have a tree map pie chart debate. We're going to end the session here. Thanks so much for coming along. Jump on the link. We'll see you in May. Otherwise, if you need any support, training, mentoring, coaching, whatever it is, please reach out to me. Love to help you out in your journey in Power BI. Otherwise, I will see you in May. Thanks, everyone. If you've got any other questions, stick on the line, but I'll see you next time.